Welcome to the channel Physics Made Easy. Today we will discuss about the phenomenon refraction of light. We have already discussed reflection by plane mirror and spherical mirrors. Today we will discuss about refraction. What happens in case of refraction? When light passes from one transparent medium to the other, then it bends from its path. Suppose this is the surface separating the two medium, this is medium number 1 and this is 2, and a light ray is incident obliquely at this medium, at this surface at point M, that is called point of incidence. Then if you draw the normal at this point, it is observed that the light ray either moves like this towards normal or it moves away from the normal. It depends which type of medium is second medium. So from which the light is coming in that medium, the angle made by light ray with the normal is angle of incidence, as we have seen angle of incidence. And here in the other medium, if no change of medium is there, then light ray will travel in this way or not. Look, this is the original path. Since it deviates from its path, then this phenomenon is called refraction. That is bending or deviation in the path of light in going from one medium to the other. This phenomenon is called refraction. What we know about the medium, that is, we say medium of different optical density. You know, optical density is different term from mass density. Mass density is mass per unit volume. But what is optical density? It is simple refractive index. I will tell you. So for the medium in which the light travels faster is said to be rarer medium, and the medium in which light travels with the lesser speed is said to be denser medium. There will be no bending if the light ray coming from first medium to the second medium is like this. That is, it is incident normally at the surface separating both the medium, it will not bend. So if it is said that the light travels like this, this is the medium 1 and this is the medium 2, comment for the optical density of these two medium, what will you say? Both are same. If there is no change in medium, no bending. And if the change in medium is there, then for light ray incident normally from one medium to other medium in going, if it is incident normally, there will be no bending. So when no bending occurs, if there is no change of medium or if light ray is incident normally at the interface separating both the medium. What happens if the optical density is said to be, what do you mean by optical density? You have to say simply refractive index. The refractive index of the medium is called optical density. So optical density is a term equal to refractive index that is represented by mu or n. Mu or n. What happens in case of rarer medium? Speed of light is less, speed of light is more, and in denser medium having more optical density, speed of light is less. There is, like the reflection, we have seen angle of incidence equal to angle of reflection. What here? Angle of incidence and this refracted ray, this is the ray, in other medium is called refracted ray, making angle with normal, this is called angle of refraction. They are not same. if I is more than R, that is angle of incidence is more than angle of refraction, or in other words, if the light ray after refraction bends towards the normal, then it is said then this medium is rarer and this medium is denser. That is, if the light ray comes from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. And what about reverse of that? If light ray comes from, suppose this is the normal, if the light ray comes from one medium to other medium and like this, if this is the first medium and this is the second, then if the light ray comes like this, that angle I and this is angle R. So if I is less than R, then this is rarer, this is denser. Then what is the rule? That if the light ray travel from denser to rarer medium, that it moves away from the normal. There are laws of refraction, like the laws of reflection we have seen. Here also, that this is normal, here we have seen this is normal, this is incident ray, this is refracted ray. All these are in same plane. Incident ray, normal, refracted ray, they are all in same plane. This is the rule number 1. And what about second rule? That is very important rule known as Snell's law. What this law says, that when light ray travels from one medium to the other medium, then sine of angle of incidence in one medium, if you write like this, this is sine I. Its ratio with sine of angle of refraction in the other medium. It is constant and it is the refractive index of second medium with respect to first. How the Snell's law is defined? When light ray enters from one medium to other medium, then ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant, and this constant is called refractive index of second medium with respect to first. Whatever be the values of I and R, their ratio I upon sine R will remain constant. For example, this is the medium 1 and this is the medium 2. For first case, suppose this is the angle I1 and this is the angle R1. Then sine I1 upon sine R1 will remain same. And for another ray of light, suppose this is the angle I2 at different angle of incidence, it will be here that this will be the angle of R2. So in this way we can say the angle of incidence, there's its sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction will remain same. One more thing, that don't get confused with this refractive index or optical density with the mass density. For example, in turpentine oil and water, the mass density or only density of turpentine oil is less than that of water, but its refractive index is more than that of water. We have seen that light travels faster in rarer medium. And where is the speed of light fastest, maximum? In vacuum or air. Another relation for refractive index with this concept is written as speed of light in one medium to the speed of light in second medium. What is V1? Speed of light in one medium. What is V2? Speed of light in second medium. What happens if first medium is air? Suppose the light enters from air to any medium. Okay, then what happens here? This is this angle I and this is this angle R, refracted ray. What we observe that sin I upon sin R is the refractive index of medium with respect to air. So you will write A mu m equal to sin I upon sin R. And what is the speed of light in air? We represent it by c. Then we write here c upon v m, that is speed of light in medium. This refractive index with respect to air is called absolute refractive index. We can also prove that there will be no medium in which the light speed of light will be greater than c. Speed of light can never be greater than c. How? Look here. If this is refractive index of the medium with respect to air, then we have seen refractive index and speed. Its value is relation is inversely proportional. Lesser will be the speed if more will be the optical density or refractive index. And what is the refractive index of air? If you find refractive index of this in place of medium, if you write air, then what will be this A mu A? Here you will also write C, then it will be 1. That is, refractive index of air is 1. Refractive index less than 1 is not possible. Similarly, you can write that speed greater than c is not possible. So, we can write here that refractive index is of one medium with respect to 2 or with respect to any medium. If with respect to air, refractive index of medium with respect to air can be written as c upon Vm. It is also sin I upon sin R. Third relation, we have read V equal to n lambda or V equal to f lambda in class 11th. You must have read. Then this frequency depends on the characteristics of source. It doesn't change with the change of medium. So, if the light ray travels from one medium to other medium, then if you write refractive index of second medium with respect to 1 as V1 upon V2, you can also write V1 equal to f lambda 1, V2 equal to f lambda 2. F will be constant, so it will be written as lambda 1 upon lambda 2. So, mu sin I upon sin R, that is V1 upon V2 equal to lambda 1 upon lambda 2, and if first medium is air, then this will be C, this will be lambda in air upon lambda in medium. So, in this way, refraction of light is studied. Now, we can see that if the light ray is coming from one medium, or you can write here, this is the boundary separating one and second medium, and again here this is the first medium. What will you write here? If the suppose light ray is incident at this normal at some angle I. Okay. What happens if this medium is, suppose it is air and this is suppose water. Okay. Then again this is air. Light ray will bend towards normal at water, as water is denser than air. Then it will come like this. At this surface again you will draw normal. Then these two normal, these two lines parallel, then this angle R will be same as this angle R, and now the light ray will come here away from the normal like this, because it is coming from 2 to 1, that is water to air, so it will move away from the normal. So this is the angle of emergence. How to prove angle of incidence is same as angle of emergence? Look here, for this interface, what will you write? Sin I upon sin R, look, I and R will be equal to mu 2 upon mu 1, refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. Okay. For this interface, what will you write? Here, at this surface, this is angle of incidence and this is angle of refraction. Then you will write sin R upon sin E, and this will be equal to what? This mu 1 upon mu 2. Will you write or not? This will be the second medium, this will be the first. So you will write this refractive index upon this. Look here, you can compare these two by reversing this value. What will you get? The sin R upon sin E will be equal to this mu 1 upon mu 2, that is sin R upon sin I. By reversing it, sin R is cancelled. What will you get? I equal to E. That is, angle of incidence is same as angle of emergence. What happens when we observe an object in water? You might have experienced this, that object is seen to be little raised from its original position. Here, suppose this is the water or any other medium, you are observing from outside this, then what happens? One ray from the object will not bend if it is normal, we have seen, and this is the object O. The other ray, if you see, is going from here. Then at this surface, if you draw normal, then what happens? It moves away from the normal, and if you extend back, then it comes and forms the image I here. Then this object, its image is formed here. You know, this angle of incidence from the angle made by incident ray with the normal, this is I, and if this is I, then this will be also I. And normal and refracted ray, if this is angle R, then what will happen? These two are parallel, then you find that this angle will also be R. Clear? Suppose from point P to Q, this distance is x. Okay. We know this relation that for very small angle, sin theta is only theta or equal to tan theta. If theta is very small, then if theta is very small, then we can write sin theta, tan theta equal to only theta. Also, we observe the object here just above the its level. Okay, the medium from which the rays are incident, this is N2, and the medium in which the rays are coming, we take N1. You know what is the relation? The relation says that N2 upon N1 is equal to real depth upon apparent depth. This is the very important relation to be learned, and how to prove it I will show you. Look, I have explained two things, that for very small angle sin theta tan theta will be only theta, and the object's height. What is the real depth? Suppose the depth will be measured from the level, so this will be the real depth, and this is the image, so this will be the apparent depth shown by D dash. How to prove it? Look here, OPQ triangle. You will find for very small angle, because if you are observing, then you are observing from here, this is the eye, then you will find this x will be very, very less. For x less, this I will be also very less. So if you write here this sin I equal to tan I, here you will write here x upon d or not. In the triangle OPQ, take sin I equal to tan I. So tan I is perpendicular upon this x by d. Similarly, sin R in the triangle IPQ, this is in the triangle OPQ, and this is in the triangle IPQ. Okay, this applied, that's this sin R equal to tan R will be equal to x upon d dash. Then what will you get? N2 upon N1. If you write Snell's law, sin I upon sin R is the refractive index of the medium in which the ray is coming to the refractive index of that medium from where the ray is going. That is, we have written this is in Snell's law. You write here this sin I upon sin R, that is, you write x by d equal to x by d dash will be equal to this N1 upon N2. Then what will you get here? This N1 upon N2 will be d dash upon d. This implies that N2 upon N1 equal to d dash d upon d dash. Whatever we have read here, real depth is d and apparent depth is d dash. Okay, we have shown here this is real and this is apparent. How this relation is useful in calculating various interesting things. Let's see a very interesting case in which a bird is flying at the height of 48 centimeter from the surface of water. There is a fish inside the water at the depth of 20 centimeter from the surface. What will be the apparent depth of fish as seen by the bird? You have to find. Let me write the question. The apparent depth of fish as seen by bird equal to what? You have to calculate. You know, we have seen the N2 upon N1 is real depth upon apparent depth, where N2 is what? N2 is that medium, its refractive index in which the object is situated. Now who is observing? Bird. So fish is like the object. What is its real depth? You know, depth is measured from the surface. So this is 20. And this water, its refractive index is 4/3, it will be given. Then this will be N2 and this will be N1. What will you write here? With the N2 upon N1 as 4/3/1. This air, its refractive index is 1, equal to this real depth, that is 20, upon apparent depth, that is d dash. What will you get here? This d dash, that is 20 into 3/4, that is 15 centimeter. So for the bird, the fish which is actually at the 20 centimeter from the depth, it will be here at somewhat 15 centimeter. What will be your answer? This 15 centimeter apparent depth is not the answer, because it is asked that apparent depth of fish as seen by bird. Then what will be the answer Answer will be this 48 plus 15, that is 3, this is 4, 5, 63 centimeter. So the fish which was actually 48 plus 20, that is at the distance of 68 centimeter, will be seen by the bird at the depth of 63 centimeter of total distance from the bird to the apparent position of the fish will be 63 centimeter. Next is the case when we observe, it is asked in certain questions, what will be the height of bird as observed by the fish? I am writing here, calculate the height, that is apparent, of the bird as seen by the fish. Simple. Now here this will be the bird in the medium through which the medium in which the bird will act like the object. In this relation, how to use it? N2 is that refractive index in which the object is situated. What will be right here? N2 for air, its value is 1. So this is 1 by 4 by 3. You will write N2 upon N1 will be equal to, what is its real height? 48. You will write 48 upon apparent height d dash. So here you will get d dash will be 48 into 4 by 3, this 16, then 16 4 ja 64 centimeter. Again, what will be the answer? As seen by the fish, what will be the apparent position of the bird? Then answer you will write by adding this 20 centimeter. This is, that is this 20 plus 64, that is 84 centimeter. So if bird observes the fish, then it will appear not 48 plus 20, instead 63 centimeter. And if fish observes the bird, then again it is not at 48 plus 20, it will be 84. The bird will be observed far at the larger height for the fish, and for the bird, fish will be observed at somewhat raised position. So this is the interesting case of this phenomenon of refraction. In the next video, we will see more interesting cases of phenomenon refraction. Thank you.